Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Generational Wrestling Podcast. As always, is yours truly, the 27-year-old piece of gold, the franchise, aka the showstopper. And with me, as always, got my tag team partner, my brother, my family. He is the flyest in the room, Mr. 1, 2, 3. Pin that ass down, K Breezy, aka the Hooded Knight. Too cold. What's going on, bro?
Man, you know what it is, man. Happy to do this. We got another big interview today. With somebody's very special. You said, no, man, I'm ready to go, brother.
With that being said, man, introducing our guest from Brooklyn. He was a member of one of the most charismatic and over teams in WWE with his late partner Shad Gaspard as part of Cryme Tyme, current VIP wrestling heavyweight champion. To be a god, you got to be built like one of Hercules. Ain't got nothing on my boy JTG, aka Jay Tha Gawd, brother. What's going on?
Generation of Wrestling Podcast. You are now rocking with the God. What's really good?
Man, it's a pleasure.
What's really good?
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure. It's an honor.
Hey man, the honor's all ours, brother. How you been, man? How you handling this pandemic, brother?
I'm doing good, man. I'm rolling with the punches, During the pandemic, I just had a little extra time, so I started a new business,
Man, speaking of new business, man, I want to get my beer game, kind of like what yours is, man. So, what you got going on, man, that seems to be working well for you.
Man, I use my own products every day. Sexy as hell beard and body care. It was just beard care, and then I said, why not have your whole body smelling good? I don't think nobody else is doing the beard and body. You know what I'm saying? I come through, My beard smell like mango. Why not my chest and abs smell like mango too? Give them the whole sexy as hell experience. You know what I'm saying? Give them the combo.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right, cool. The wifey appreciates that. Okay, all right. I'm going to have to look into that, man.
And then my beard care, because I want to guarantee results. I infuse all my beard and skincare with black seed oil. I don't know if you guys are familiar with black seed oil, but it's an amazing oil. I take it internally every day under my tongue, but it's also great for your skin and for your hair. So I had to infuse that with the beard care, and then people are loving their results when they after a few weeks, and it works.
Okay, all right, man. I definitely have to look into that, man. Franchise, man. You got anything to start off with?
Well, I mean, speaking of that, so I see that your products you use all natural, correct?
Yes, all natural. I don't like to mess with any white coat medicines. That's what we call it, white coat medicines, or anything that any chemicals. I put everything. If it's gonna go inside my body, or if it's gonna go on my body, it's gotta be all natural, no GMO, 100% organic.
Right.
With that being said, I want to kind of bring up somebody who I'm very familiar with, and I was actually kind of surprised to see you were as well, man, Dr. Sebi. So I want to kind of talk to you because I see he's a big inspiration to you. How did you come across Dr. Sebi and his methods?
So I'm gonna say that I graduated from YouTube University. Like everything that I've I've learned, I go on YouTube and I apply it. Even when I wrote my first 2 books, I didn't know nothing about being an author. I didn't know anything about writing. Like my friends and family kind of inspired me to write the book. So I had to do some homework, because you could be a great writer, but being an author representing the book. So I did a lot of homework, and that's how I found out about Dr. Sebi. I found out there was a man out there that was curing AIDS patients and cancer patients with with this, what they call it, with his herbal knowledge. He didn't give any of his patients any knowledge, any medicine. It was just like a change of diet and a whole different mindset. And I found out about the alkaline and being acidic. There's 2 different spectrums, and you want to keep your body in line with being alkaline by eating all alkaline food, fruits, giving up meat and dairy. I haven't given up meat yet, but I've definitely given up dairy.
Right. So it's a slow transition.
Slow transition, yeah. And consuming a lot of alkaline water.
Okay.
With that being said, what's your go-to alkaline water?
My go-to alkaline, it's expensive, but I like Fiji water. And if I can't get Fiji water, I also have there's a spot here in LA that that just has alkaline water. They charge an arm and a leg, but it's worth it.
Right.
I see that you've written 2 books. You got the Why Did I Write This Book 1 and 2, and then you also got your Big Biceps, so easy to follow that a child can do it.
Yeah, the movie's got the big biceps.
Right. So what the big biceps? Because man, dude, I've seen your arms, and like, dude, you have like you went from where you were with Cryme Tyme to where you are now, man. You definitely have been working out. And my guy, franchise, he's a workout warrior like you. So, man, please talk about that book, man, and just kind of give us a little bit of insight about it.
So I wrote the book because I kept getting I trained my arms to be big so I could get a lot of female attention, but I'm getting the opposite. I'm getting a lot of dudes coming up to me like, "Man, your arms are big, though. I gotta get my arms big like yours." And I just kept getting the same question over and over again.
Right.
And I decided to write a book. I decided to write a book with all the different techniques and strategies and tips and secrets that I use to get my arms humongous. and and I just it's a lot of I would say that it was a lot of failing and finding out what works.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that when I watch people in the gym, they do the same thing over and over again. They don't know about splicing. They don't know about pyramid sets. They don't know about negatives and positive reps. And so I put a lot of that in the book. I also put do's and don'ts. People how, and then enforcing how important form is. Everybody wants to go in the gym and lift heavy, and that's all ego. When you go to the gym, leave the ego at the door and focus on your form and making sure that you're actually stretching the muscle, and the only thing you're doing is working on that muscle. Some people want to lift heavy and throw their back to get the weight up, and it's like, bro, you're not doing anything but just about to injure yourself. Sometimes you gotta lower the weight and work on your form before start adding more weight. And I enforce that in my book. And I just 6 weeks of different workouts. Nothing is the same workout. I switch it up because you don't want to keep continuing to shock the muscle. If you keep doing the same workout every week, your body gets used to it, and it's like you're not getting any growth. So 6-week program, and I guarantee results.
Well, I definitely want to come back to that, and I want to come back to your book, but I want to kind of swing it around really quick and talk about your early career. So, you guys started out at OVW. A lot of greats that come from OVW, John Cena, Batista, Randy Orton, etc. Back then, before you really had NXT, explain how difficult it was, because I feel like you guys kind of came in at the tail end of the Attitude Era, the beginning of the Ruthless Aggression era. So before we kind of got super PG, it was still shark infested. Can you explain to those who aren't in the business and those who are aspiring to be in the business how difficult it was for you guys trying to really navigate those waters back then?
Yeah, it was fairly difficult. It was definitely walking on eggshells. I don't think it's like that right now. When I got to OVW, especially being a brother, moving in Louisville, Kentucky was a big culture shock. Yeah. And when I first got there, I had 2 individuals like look out for me like I was their little brother. That was Elijah Burke, and then the Pope. You guys know him as the Pope. Yep. Wrestling world knows him as the Pope. And then I had Shad, my tag team partner. We didn't know we were going to be tag team partners. We just kicked it off because we grew up from similar backgrounds. We're both from Brooklyn, New York, and we grew up around the same neighborhood. It was just like a coincidence. And then we just became like close. He taught me how to work out. He showed me around Louisville. He gave me his ID so I could go into the club at 19. We just hit it off. And we became great friends. And then later on the line, we became tag team partners. But yeah, the locker room was a lot different. Like you said, it was shark infested. And in OVW, they had different tiers. So when I first started, I started off in the amateur class. And then there was the intermediate class, and then there was a contract class. A lot of people didn't make it through the amateur class. And a lot of people didn't make it through the intermediate class. And to get to the contract class, to train with contract talent, you really had to prove yourself. And then there was also a tuition fee, a large tuition fee. So when I felt like I was confident enough to join the contract class, I made a call to my mom, and she was a big wrestling fan, and she supported me all the way up till then. I was like, yo, I got this much money. I need this much more money to get to the next class. And she was like, I'm gonna take some money out of my savings. I believe in you. I know you could do this. And I'm like, I need to go to the next level. I need to be seen by the WWE, because in the contract class, you're training with contract talent. You're going to be seen by WWE because they're always keeping an eye on their contract talent. So it was a great investment. And a few weeks later, Shad had just finished a television segment, local locally in Louisville with CM Punk. He was in a program with CM Punk, and they were like, "What's next for Shad?" And then me and my tag team partner, because before Shad and I were a team, my original partner was Abraham Washington. The guys, everybody know him from ECW, but his name in OVW was Dirty. It was Dirty, and he was having some personal issues. And the owner of OVW, Danny Davis, Paul Heyman, and Al Snow, it was like, "Yo, this kid has a lot of talent, a lot of charisma. He has a good look. We just need to figure out what we could do with him." And I guess it popped in their head to put me with Shad. They asked Shad. Shad, me and him had a great relationship. Like, yeah, he's cool, blah blah blah. Let's see if it works. And we hit it off, and it worked. And next thing you know, a few weeks later after that, me being teamed up with Shad for like a few weeks. I wouldn't even say it was a month. We did some vignettes in OVW, and those vignettes was the gem that got me hired, because Vince McMahon never saw me wrestle. He didn't know I could wrestle, if I could wrestle or not. He just know that me and Shad had great chemistry on screen. He was like, "Yo, these guys are funny." They just beat up the guy at the ATM, beat up the cop at the beat up the cop from the donut shop. That's hilarious. I want that on Raw. They was like, I want to bring him up to TV. Like, well, it was like, let's bring him up to Raw. And he was like, "Well, the big one is signed. The little one is not under contract. Well, sign him." And I got the call, and I hit the floor running after that.
Okay, so I got a question, man. You guys, you won the tag team championships in OVW.
OVW, yeah.
The name of your team, man. The neighbor. So what was it? The neighbor hoodie.
Yeah. So before I got on OVW television, Paul Heyman put me to the side. He was like, "We got a name for you." And I'm like, "I already have a name," but at that time, I'm not really gonna argue with Paul Heyman. He's giving me an opportunity, so I'm just listening. He's like, "We're gonna call you the neighbor hoodie. You're from the neighborhood, and you're a hoodie. Put them together. You're the neighbor hoodie." And I just looked at him and said, "Yes, I love it." In the back of my head, I'm like, "What? My name is JTG." Like, who didn't tell him my name was JTG? But whatever. I ran with it, and then as soon as I had the opportunity to change it, I switched that thing faster than New York. In the New York Minute.
I saw that, and I was like, the neighborhood. Like, who came up with that name? And that was cool. But I thank you for answering that, man. So I appreciate that. But you guys getting called up to the main roster, man. What was it like that first day? That very first night where y'all got to show up and y'all got to introduce yourselves, and you got to feel that energy from the crowd, even though it might have took a little minute for them to kind of grasp who you were and what y'all were about. But what was it like for you and Shad, man, to come out that very first night?
I remember our first show. It was close to Louisville. I'm gonna say it was in Cincinnati, I believe. And I remember I had to borrow a suit for my boy Armando Estrada, because I didn't own any suits at the time, but I wanted to make a good first impression.
Forgot about him.
So I borrowed a suit from the homie, and we went to Raw, and we went backstage, and I'm backstage, and I'm seeing John Cena, Batista. I'm like seeing the whole roster. I'm like, yo, these are the people. Like, I'm like trying not to mark out, even though I'm in the business. At the end of the day, all wrestlers, as much as they can't and don't want to, they're all fans. They're all marks deep down inside. We just took it to another level and pursued our our dreams. But yeah, I'm trying not to mark out. And our first match at Raw was amazing. The crowd just, they dug us right off the bat. Like, soon as we didn't have the Cryme Tyme music because we weren't Cryme Tyme yet. But us being together and the energy that we came out with, the fans, they just resonated with us immediately. And we started going on the house shows. Even on the house shows, we haven't even done any of our vignettes. But when me and Shad came out, the energy that we brought and our look, that was different at the time. The crowd loved us right away.
Well, I kind of want to touch on that too. When you guys came out, like you said, the look, you guys, the Timbs, the bandanas, the chains and everything. How did it feel, man, to come out and not only be received by, of course, the urban crowd, but to see, you got older white people, older Latin people, they everybody getting jiggy with Cryme Tyme, and it was funny because you guys took a stereotype and you guys flipped it on his head. And if people see people like us walking down the street, they might walk the other way. But when you
Yeah.
guys came out, man, it was all love. So how was that received? Like you said, two brothers coming up, two young brothers dressed a certain way. How were you received backstage by the veterans when they seen how over the gimmick was getting?
We got some heat because we just came on the scene and we're just taking up all the TV time. We got a lot of heat. But we did, I mean, we had to get ourselves established first. Fans had to get to know who we were. And before we got up there, they're like, every time you're on TV, take advantage of every second. That's your commercial. That's your commercial to the world. And we did everything that every time I got on TV, I strategically planned what I wanted to say, even onto what I was wearing, and we got I had a lot of fun. But we had to strategically plan what we were going to say and how we were going to do it. And yeah, that's pretty much. What was the question one more time? So I don't want to make sure I don't.
No. You were good. I mean, my whole thing was, you guys were different, right? You came in, and my thing was, I remember I seen the interview. You said at first you kind of had some reservations about doing it, the whole JTG character and the whole Cryme Tyme because of it was stereotypical. But you guys, you had a conversation like, look, you can make money. And that's what you guys did. You went out there, and it was money, like the catchphrase, money, money.
And also, I got to give Vince McMahon some props because our first time we went to Raw, we had that meeting in Cincinnati, and my mind was blown. I was like, I'm in a room with Vince McMahon. He was cool. He was chilling. He told us what he expected from us and what he wanted to do. He wanted to take the image and flip it. We're gonna he was like, we're gonna take this image. Some people will see you guys and be intimidated or be scared. What we're gonna do is you guys are gonna have fun and flip the stereotype. And I'm like, okay, I could dig with that. I could feel that. He was like, you guys are gonna be my babyface heels. You're gonna do bad guy stuff, but you're gonna get over because you guys are baby faces. You guys are having fun, and you're not gonna steal and keep what you. You'll do that sometimes, but we're gonna auction off to the fans to get some fans and get fan engagement. I'm like, this guy's a genius. Let's do it.
Man, so okay. With all that being said and done, man, how was it? And I'm so glad to ask this. How was it to work with DX? How was it to work with Shawn Michaels and Triple H? And what you guys, especially for that little moment where they were just kind of I think they were trying to get into the building, so they were trying to buy tickets.
That was it. Yeah, that was in London. Right, so it was like, I will never forget that because it was so cold, and I was wearing just a vest, my bulletproof vest. But at that night, we had a lot of fun with them. We were just bouncing ideas back and forth, and then I remember, I can't remember if it was Sean or Hunter, but one of them like broke out of character and just started laughing because we were just having so much fun on set. And it took us a while to get to that, comfortability. But we definitely have fun shooting that one.
So with you guys, like I said, you guys coming up, and you like I said, you it was fun to see you and Shad, man, because like I said, you guys got over it. You guys had an opportunity to go for the tag team titles, but that never really materialized. Was there ever a reason that they gave y'all for why they never really put the tag team title? Because for me, once y'all got the opportunity, I'm like, all right, they got the opportunity. They over. They're a fan favorite, man. Everybody loves them. Like, they're always on TV. Why haven't they put the titles on these guys yet, man? They definitely deserve it. Was there any real reason why, they didn't do that for you guys?
So we were supposed to win it on a few occasions, but because of politics and heat, that didn't happen. But here's one of the reasons that one of I wouldn't say that, I'm not gonna say this person's name, and he's not an agent. He was more of he's one of the head writers there at WWE. He was like, he said to us, because Shad brought it up, because he was also like perturbed, like, why we haven't won the title, blah blah blah. And he was like, you don't need it. You guys are already over. We were like, what? He's like, you guys don't need the titles. It's not a priority. It's not needed. You guys are already over. When you come out, the crowd cheers for you. We usually put the titles on, teams that, the title is to make somebody,
Right.
and you guys don't need to be made. You guys are over already. And I'm like,
But
I don't like that excuse. I was, it was like,
I don't like
all
that
right,
excuse
whatever.
hearing it. I don't even like that hearing it from you, because that's BS, because that would have been the one thing that would have put you guys on
To the
top.
next
Like, yeah,
level.
you guys were over, but that would have put you on top as being tag team champions. Like, these dudes came in with something nobody thought they could come in with doing. And then they turned it into this beautiful. It was awesome to see. Like I said, with the just the way you trick guys, the way y'all, you gave stuff to the fans, all the stuff that you guys did. And it was just like, why haven't these guys gotten a championship? Because that would have been awesome. And the reason I say that is because for me, and I think you might have mentioned this before also, that for me, I feel like one of your best matches was with Chris Jericho and Big Show, for SummerSlam. And that was one of the I just knew, I'm like, okay, I trust Big Show and Jericho that they see what this team is. Man, they go, man, these boys about to win. They about to win on SummerSlam. They about to get these championships. But for me to you, man, what was that match like to wrestle those two guys on a big stage like that?
Shoot, let me tell you something. When I got to the Staples Center that day, I like, well, professional wrestlers, we're kind of like, we don't really, well, with me, I can only speak for myself, so I'm gonna say that I didn't live in the moment too much. I was just kind of like not going through the motions, but always thinking about the next week and how I'm gonna get over, or what's gonna be new, what's new and what's next, because so much is going on. And then when I got to the Staples Center that day, I'm chilling with Abe Washington, because we came up into the training together in OVW, and we were just reminiscing and we were talking. He was like, "Bro, remember we used to sit in the parking lot, and we were complaining and whining about, not having enough money and struggling and, going to class and all this stuff. And here we are at the Staples Center, and you're on the card with Chris Jericho and Big Show for the title. You're in Los Angeles." And then I'm staring at the set and I'm staring at the ring, and I almost cried, because like, yo, I never really took time to like really like bask in what I've accomplished. Like, oh snap, you're right. I know I have to wrestle tonight, but I'm wrestling Chris Jericho, someone who I looked up to, Big Show, who was a big fan of, and I'm wrestling them tonight for the title. So I just had to sit back and like just really like let it simmer. Like, oh snap,
Right.
I made it. I almost cried, but I'm too much of a badass. I ain't cry.
Right. You could have gave it the glory tear and just give it the one little tear.
Give it this little tear, like, oh snap, man, this is unbelievable. And I felt that same way too when I was on the bus, overseas. On the bus, they travel, baby faces and heels ride separate. And on my bus was Roddy Piper, Ric Flair. You got Triple H, Shawn Michaels, John Cena, all on the same bus, and I'm on the bus with them, and I'm their colleague. I'm like, yo, I effing made it.
That's awesome.
I made it.
Speaking of Cena, how was it, man? Because I know Cena had this big feud with JBL, and at one point you, Shad, and Cena kind of teamed up for a few spots, and then y'all had a segment where y'all beat the hell out of JBL's limo. How cool was it for you, man? Because John Cena, that's really when he was really starting to become John Cena.
Yeah.
How awesome was it, like, for you two to get the rub from a guy like that and interact with a guy like JBL?
That came out of nowhere. I remember just showed up to the arena in New Orleans, and it was like, "Oh, you guys are in for it tonight." And we're like, "Oh, they're gonna have like what?" Like I didn't know which way to take that. And it was like, tonight you and John Cena, I got some a forming a faction. Like they was breaking it down. We're like, "Oh snap, okay, I could rock with this." You guys are destroying JBL's limo. We went over the set. We had to do rehearsal. And I'm like, "Yo, this is gonna be like kind of historical. It's like this is gonna be pretty like really big." And we just ran with it from there. John Cena, and after that, me, Cryme Tyme and John Cena, we started main eventing the live events. I've never main evented a WWE show before, so being with John Cena, I got to see what that felt like. And I learned a lot from John Cena. Just little stuff that I would do because of my mindset, being young and still being a rookie in a sense. He told me to stop doing certain things. You're in the main event now. Like you can't be doing the the slow clap to get the crowd behind you. You get a main event, they're there. You don't gotta do that.
Right.
You don't gotta get the crowd warmed up. You gotta start acting like a main event. I'm like, okay, little stuff like that, little tricks, and I learned a few of those things from John Cena.
Speaking of learning, I got another question for you. What was Paul Heyman and Al Snow? What was their influence for you in your career? How much did you look up to Paul Heyman, even as just a business person? Because you hear so much about Paul, whether it be good or bad. From your experience, can you tell us what it was like for you to work with Paul and Al Snow?
So with Paul Heyman, I didn't have any negative experiences with Paul Heyman. He got me on the scene, so I'm forever grateful for that. And Al Snow, he didn't teach me how to wrestle per se, but he taught me how to be a worker. He taught me how to be a businessman. He's telling us, he taught me how to, when you're up there, when you get to WWE, learn how to work the camera. Like, you have to learn how to be a businessman. He was breaking it down for us. Like, fans really engage with talent, like with wrestling, with superstars, who can engage with them. Look into the camera, you're talking to the fan. I didn't know that, and then when I really started realizing, it was like, okay, how to cut a promo and learning how to hit all your cues. Like, as long as you know where you're wrestling at and the date,
right,
you can't be sidetracked. Just keep hitting your marks. Taught us how to do interviews. Sometimes interviewers will try to sway you. If you're there to promote the show and they try to talk about politics, like, hey, that's all cool, but I'm here to talk about rocking the show at MSG in New York City on June 15th. But how you feel about? I don't know nothing about no Biden. Biden can come to the show, but at June 15th at NYC, if Biden wants to come to, like, you kept telling, he taught us how to conduct ourselves. So yeah, so it was just with Al Snow. I'm thankful for that too. He taught us how to conduct ourselves, not just in wrestling, but outside of wrestling, because we represent the wrestling business. If I do something stupid, they're not gonna say JTG, blah blah blah. They're gonna say professional wrestler, or they're gonna say WWE superstar did something stupid. So I gotta, because of the respect that I have for the business, I gotta conduct myself in a certain way.
Absolutely.
Who were because I don't think we got to ask you this. Who were the people that you were watching that motivated you to want to really get into this business and really have the love that you have for wrestling?
So I went through different phases in my life. I think all of us do. Growing up as a toddler, I was dropping elbows on my sister's Cabbage Patch doll. So Macho Man, Hulk Hogan.
Of course.
Yeah, Macho Man, Hulk Hogan. Then as I got not really a toddler, but as I got a little bit older, Bret Hart was my man. He still is, but Bret Hart, I was a big Bret Hart fan. And he made me just like, look, I want to be a professional wrestler. And then after that, we got into the Attitude Era, and then I was a big Rock fan. If you guys went through my IG, you can see where I was. My cousin was wrestling when I was 15 or 16. We had a match and we filmed it in my bedroom, and I rock bottom my cousin through an ironing board. Yeah. And then as I became a professional wrestler, when I was actually in OVW training, I started studying Chris Benoit, and a lot of Chris Jericho, Dynamite Kid, because I really wanted to be a wrestler. And then that was cool and all to have under my belt. But then my tag team partner, my first tag team partner, when he came to me with the idea for the Cryme Tyme look that you guys are used to, with the, he's like, yo, we gotta come out there, we gotta be gutter with it and blah blah. Like, I don't know, man, that sounds stereotype. I actually just want to wrestle with tights. He's like, they ain't gonna make you no money, man. You gotta have a gimmick. You from Brooklyn, you're gonna represent the East Coast, and I'm gonna be dirty. I'm gonna represent the South, the dirty South. And I'm like, we could try it, we'll see if it works. And it was a hit.
It was. We want one more question, and then what we want to do is we want to let a few of the fans, kind of ask you a couple of questions, if you don't mind.
No problem.
So the last question. So a little bit after you guys kind of had your run, they wanted to split you guys up, and they kind of wanted you guys to go your own way. It didn't really work out, but what was the I guess the reasoning, or what did they see that made them think that it was time to split you guys up, and what direction you guys needed to go in?
We kind of talked about it first within ourselves. They're like, yo, they're not really pushing tag teams right now, and they weren't really pushing us. We were seeing tag teams who were getting title shots and getting the titles, and they weren't even a tag team. They were just like two single superstars who weren't doing anything. You put them together, and they were getting title shots and getting title runs. And we were like, okay, they don't give a shit about the tag team division. And we were like, we've been together for a while, and we were like, let's do a singles run. Go our different directions. We didn't know who was gonna be babyface or heel. I didn't care to feud with Shad. I was like, why does every tag team got a feud? They're like, why we just can't go our separate ways? And when we're in the same, if we go to Raw and the SmackDown, but we all together, even though you're a babyface, I'm a heel. I still got your back. That's never been done before. And they wanted us to feud. We was like, hey, whatever. And then we both wanted. And plus, I always had ambitions. Of course, I want to be the world heavyweight champion. But as growing up and being a big fan of Bret Hart and also Mr. Perfect, I love Mr. Perfect. I wanted to hold on to that IC title, so I had my eyes on that.
No.
All right, so we got a question for you. So one question is for JTG. If you and Shad was still working today, do you think the Cryme Tyme gimmick will work in current WWE? If so, why? If not, why?
Absolutely not. Social media was not popping in 2006. They didn't have any Twitter. Definitely not no Instagram. So, but yeah, Twitter, they would have canceled us real quick. As you can see today, I had one of our shows got canceled because of Joey Ryan. Joey Ryan was going to do a women's charity show. I was on the show. I was aware that Joey Ryan was going to be on the show, but I saw that he was doing it for a good cause, and he wants a second chance, and to get a second chance, you have to start making. You can't just talk about it. You have to go. You have to start actions speak louder than words. So he wanted to do a women's charity show, and he wanted redemption. So I agreed to do the show. Everybody deserves a second chance, and as soon as he put the flyer out on Twitter, they came for him, and the show. I got the text. It was like, yeah, the show got canceled. Tony Khan wasn't having it, and they were like, so yeah, the cancel culture is real. So no, Cryme Tyme would, and if they did want to bring us back, Cryme Tyme was really popular. I don't think they would have called us Cryme Tyme. It would have been Shad Gaspard and JTG, and and that would have been
them dudes. They would have been called them guys.
Them dudes, from Brooklyn, them boys.
Speaking of cancel culture, it's another segment I want to ask you about, but I'm gonna ask this next question. So, another question was: do you have any fond memories of you and Shad at a house show that you guys couldn't do on live TV or get away with?
Not that I could think of off the top of my head. We'd have a lot of fun with the live events because we didn't have any time restrictions, and we didn't have any the agents were just like, have fun out there, be safe, have a good match. So live events was way more fun than doing TV because with TV, you got a lot of pressure. You got to make sure you hit certain camera angles, and you got to be careful of a lot of stuff. So a lot of the boys look forward to live events, especially in big cities, like a live event at MSG. Woo, in front of that New York crowd, I would pay money to perform at MSG in a live event. But to get paid to do that, oh man, it's a dream.
Well, speaking of that, so I want to ask you, because there's so much talent in not even just WWE, but pro wrestling altogether. And for the longest time, there was a stereotype of guys working on the independents, guys working in VFW halls. Now it seems like the independents right now are the hottest they've ever been. And you can attribute some of that to competition from Ring of Honor, Impact, now AEW. So right now, even yourself, for guys who think that WWE or a big company like that is the end all be all, what would you advise them? Would you tell guys to start out on the independence, or what are your thoughts about that?
I definitely believe you need to start out on the independent scene. I didn't start off an independent scene. I kind of did. I did a lot of live events with OVW. I wouldn't say it was a traditional independent scene, but I learned and I was able to watch contract talent and also wrestle contract talent in OVW with their live events. So I kind of did work independence, but not the traditional way. But I do recommend a lot of talent, because that's where you cut your teeth. That's where you get experience. You can learn I recommend that you watch. You don't just have your match and leave after you get your pay. You know, like actually watch, like sit back and watch the main event. See, that's because that's where you want to be. So watch what they're doing so you could, you know, put your little spin on it. Um, I'm having a lot of fun on Independence right now. If I could get, you know, I have a lot of shows coming up, and I did a lot of shows even during this COVID, this pandemic situation. I'm you know, they're you know, promoters are hitting up your boy, and I'm staying busy. I would like to be busy every weekend, Friday through Sunday. I believe when this pandemic is over, I believe I'll be able to fill my calendar up more because I love what I do, and I'm just enjoying. You know, I'm enjoying the run right now.
How has that run really been for you? Like, I know you just kind of elaborate on it, but you know, you're champion, and you're now Jay Tha Gawd. You're no longer JTG. You're out of WWE. You're away from there. You're your own man. You're doing your own thing. What has that really been for you through these past years? You know, just
Past couple of months, you mean?
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, a couple of months, but but since you kind of been gone from WWE, just kind of that growth of just figuring out who you are. You know, what has that been for you?
Well, prior to Jay Tha Gawd, you know, I was still teaming with Shad, and I didn't want to do anything else but the Cryme Tyme gimmick. You know,
right?
If I was like if there was ever to call me, be like, hey, we want you to come back, you know, but just you though. Like, no, I don't. The fans want Cryme Tyme, and I'm not gonna go back solo and then have them, you know, chanting Cryme Tyme. You know, that's what the fans want. Let's give it to them. And I was hoping that, you know, there would be a opportunity for Shad and I to go back and have, you know, one more run of, you know, whatever. There was talks about it. You know, it was definitely put on the table. You know, they definitely when Shad and I went backstage, it was definitely a conversation with the head of talent relations, and they were interested. We didn't get any further than that, but you know, there was definitely some talks. And then after, you know, when Shad passed away, you know, that hit me really hard. You know, I had to take a time out from the world for a few weeks, and I was even contemplating if I ever wanted to wrestle again. It's like, I've been doing tag team for so long, you know, I'm gonna have to like change my whole. If I do go back to wrestling, if I ever get the passion for it again, I'm gonna have to change my whole swag up because I need to, you know, I love Cryme Tyme, I love where it got me, but I'm gonna have to switch the swag up. You know, I can't. I have to shed the Cryme Tyme look, and you know, I'm gonna have to. I want to be a main eventer, so I had to look the part. So I did everything that I had to do during that. You know, we were still in COVID, but I made sure I stayed in the gym. I had to change my look up. I did a lot of research and homework on what would be a good look for Jay Tha Gawd, and you know, and it's working out good. You know, I'm still in the process of transforming into the person who I want to be, who I want to one day main event WrestleMania. So it's still a process. Still in the process.
Hey man, well look, you look good, man, and you definitely have grown and come afar from where you begun. So hey, I think you still got it, brother. So I definitely want to see where you go from here. Franchise, you got anything?
Yeah, so you touched on Shad, and that's something I really wanted to talk to you about. But since you brought it up, I'm gonna kind of turn into it now. Like you said, man, you had to kind of take a break from the world for a minute, and with wrestling, especially pro wrestling, you see like a lot of real life best friends, not only behind the scenes but on the camera. Bailey and Sasha, you had Eddie and Chris, and Eddie and Ray. When Chris passed away, when Eddie passed away, that really took a toll on Chris, and then you kind of see where that led him a year later. With you and Shad being so close, damn near brothers, did you ever feel like you got to that point to where, forget wrestling, I just don't want to do none of this anymore? Or did it never get that bad for you?
No, it got that bad where I didn't even want to wrestle anymore. Yeah, it got to a point where I just like, I don't even want to wrestle anymore because it would just remind me of because I thought about it. Like when you're in depression mode, everything is dark and gloomy. It's like every time I go back to a locker room, somebody's gonna bring up Shad, or I'm gonna keep constantly thinking about Shad if I go back to wrestling. And right now, it's hurting. And then after doing, all my, I have my own spiritual practices, and like really meditating is like, you don't have any bad memories of Shad. You and Shad have, we've been brothers for so many years, and we probably only had like maybe two or three fallouts. That's amazing. So you don't really have that many bad memories of Shad, and he would want you to continue, and he would want you to rep for the both of you guys. So that's what I got, during my meditation, and I also felt like in the back of my head, I felt like he was talking to me, and I was like, "Yo, you a rep, and I'm gonna make sure that you get to where you need to be. Like I'm not leaving your side," and that's what it feels like. Right now on the independent scene, I've been main eventing a lot. I've been in that spot for a while. I got the title put on me, and the title's not making me. I'm making the title. I'm making, I'm repping VIP wrestling. And
how does it feel to be the face?
Shad is on my side, and he's got my back.
How does it feel to be the face of VIP wrestling? How does it feel to be that guy that somebody's like, yo, we see that, go out there and do what you do best? And how does that feel for you?
It feels great. It's a responsibility. I'm not just the champion and the face of the company. I'm also a locker room leader. That comes with a lot of responsibility, and guys come up to me for advice, and even outside of wrestling, they're like looking at me like, man, you got a lot going on. You're a great role model. Like you have great energy. You're very positive. Anybody could come up to me in the locker room and talk to me. They ask me to watch their match, I'm gonna watch it and critique it and keep it real with them. I'm there. I'm there to help. I'm there to help the company, and I'm gonna deliver every time I'm put in that position.
Speaking of being a locker room leader, somebody Nazir, he just asked, he says, what are your thoughts on Bobby Lashley being the WWE champion after all those years? You definitely got the look now. You were somebody we felt like even when you were Cryme Tyme should have been tag champs. Now you're the face of VIP. You're the heavyweight champion. Looking like, if you ever decided to step back in WWE, you could be world champion. To see somebody who you were in the business with at one point in time, Bobby Lashley, on the WWE side of things, how does that make you feel to see how far we've come as a people, especially in pro wrestling?
Yeah, we came a long way, because for a long time now, it was just like a few years ago, we were still having a debate between if we ever had a African American champion. It was like, and this was just only a few years ago, and that's like ridiculous. It's like all these years, and we're still having a debate on if we ever had a African American champion. Like, because some people don't want to count The Rock, and like The Rock is black, he's African American, but he doesn't identify as African American. He came his Samoan side, which is cool, whatever. But yes, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, is black, he's African American, so I would say that he is the first black champion. But Kofi Kingston did bring it to the came through, and he definitely represented. You can't argue now. It's like, yo, Kofi Kingston, they put the title on him at WrestleMania. It's like, and he wasn't a transitional champion. He's like, he won it and he held it down, for a few months. And then Bobby Lashley, he deserves it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He looks the part. MVP came through and turned a lot of people's careers around. And I love what I'm seeing. I love to see black excellence.
All right, another question from a fan, Joe. He says, do you recall the host segment with Lita?
Of course I remember it. I remember getting walking into the arena in Philadelphia, and he was like, "Oh God, you guys gonna have some fun tonight." I'm like, "What match are you?" Like, "Oh, you guys don't have a match. You guys are doing a segment." And we were told, and we were like, "Oh snap! Is Lita okay with it?" I remember Shad asking, "Is Lita okay with this?" It was like, yeah, she was, and then we talked to Lita, and she was like, "It's whatever. You guys have fun, do what you have to do, and let's have some fun out there." I could tell she was a little perturbed by it because it was her retirement match, but we had to do our job. But I'm glad that she gave us the blessings to move forward and go on with it.
Wow, yeah, I remember that now when you said that.
It was a retirement match.
Right. Oh man, all right, man. So what's what's next for you moving forward? What I know you, like I said, you got the, the beer game going on, you got the books out, you're now the champion and VIP.
Don't
What's
forget the
next?
T-Moss. Don't forget the
I was about to
T-Moss.
say, don't forget this T-Moss jail.
Yeah, yeah, can't forget that. I don't want to forget that. What is there anything that's next for you moving forward, or
I got a
or
lot of stuff.
anything that's in the works?
I got a lot of stuff on my bucket list that I'm definitely gonna cross off. I've still never been to Japan. I'll definitely. So if anybody promoters Japan listening, I definitely want to get it popping in Japan. If it's a tour, if it's a one-off thing, I want to get my Ribera jacket. You know what I'm saying? I got to get my Ribera jacket. Um, and keep growing my businesses, and keep looking out for more opportunities to. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I'm very creative, and if I see something that I could use in my life and spread the knowledge to the rest of the world, I'm gonna invest my money in it. And I'm a businessman right now. Even with wrestling, I'm a businessman. I'm not the mark or the fan that WWE called when I was 21. They could have told me, we're gonna give you a warm room and a sandwich, and I would have signed a contract. But now I'm 36. I have a better mind. I'm not I'm a fan, but I'm more of a businessman right now. So it has to make sense financially, and it just has to make sense for me to sign on the dotted line again. And that's with any company, WWE, AEW. Because right now I'm having fun on independent scenes, and if I could keep this momentum going and get booked every week like I want to, 3 times or 2 times out of the weekend, I don't need to go back to a big company. I don't need to go back to a AEW or WWE, especially with
Speaking
everything
of
else I got going on.
Speaking of AEW, I want to get your opinion on it. As someone who's on the outside, what is your opinion on AEW as a company and what they've been doing, as far as because I know a lot of people have been giving it some good positive things. Of course, you got those who they're loyal to WWE. They see it
Mhm.
as something that's just a carbon copy. What are your thoughts, man, on what you see from AEW, from what it started from to where it is right now?
I've definitely liked the growth that I've seen, um, and I like the direction that they're going,
Right.
and that's something that I might be interested in being a part of. If it makes sense, and
Why
yeah,
not?
yeah, definitely. If I get a call from Tony Khan and things are making sense, yeah, I'll definitely sign on the dotted line. I like. I just wish they would. Just no. This my me being critiquing. I would like to see more stories told in the ring. Right now they're kind of big on these high spots and doing all these Cirque du Soleil spots, and that's cool when it fits. But I'm more of
Right.
a fan of storytelling. Like when I go, the first thing I ask my opponent, when we're putting our match together, I'm like, okay, usually it's like, okay, so what you want to do or what can you do? It's like, what story are we going to tell? What are
Right.
we going to get the fans to engage with? What story are we going to tell? Um, you know, what story are we going to tell? And that's very important to me. I just don't go in the ring and start talking about moves and spots and stuff like that. If it don't fit, don't force it. There's a lot of moves I could do, but I use a small percentage of my arsenal because I'm focused on the story.
Right.
Well,
So,
it's funny you said that because listening to guys like Jericho or guys that's been in the business for a while, or guys that even came up, you know, early 2000s, late 90s. The one thing that they say compared to today's style, and it's not a knock, it's just
Yeah.
being honest. Like you said, the storytelling is
Mm-hmm.
lost, the art of storytelling, and now we're in the high speed digital age now where we want everything now, 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 now. Like you said, please like further elaborate for those who are aspiring to be in the business like you, as somebody who was on the heat side, the hot side of the business, and now you're like that locker room leader and the peaks and valleys you went through. Explain, like you said, you don't give everything every match. You kind of want to
Yeah.
save some.
Yeah.
So explain that to those guys who are out there damn near breaking their necks day in, day out, thinking that's their only way of getting over.
Yeah, I get it. They're not working every weekend, or their shows are far in between. So that one time they do get a chance to wrestle, they want to show everything that they got. What is more impressive is You going in there telling a story and showing character, and possibly if you get an opportunity to get on the mic. You know, that's, you know, if you want to be in the WWE, they hire sports entertainers, not just wrestlers. They hire superstars. You know, wrestlers, you know, they don't really make all the money. You know, you got the characters and the sports entertainers that make the money. The Rocks, the Stone Colds. You know them for their catchphrases and and you know,
Very true. Yeah.
stuff, you know. You know, there's not a lot of wrestlers making all the, you know, making all the money. So I had to learn that. So, you know, that's why I created my persona, Jay Tha Gawd. You know, Jay Tha Gawd, you know, I'm creating that character so he could put butts in seats. You know, you're able to sell a match. So yeah, I would say focus on your character, focus on telling a story, learn how to cut a promo, and promoting yourself on social media. You know, you guys, like people who are new in the business, you have social media to get yourself over. We didn't have that back then. You know,
Right.
and it doesn't always have to be wrestling. Get your charisma, your character over. And sometimes people might not even want to see you wrestle. You know, because you're so, like Santino Marella. This guy, he was he was such a character. People wanted to see him wrestle. I didn't get hired because I was a good wrestler. Mr. Man, so I had great on-screen chemistry and a good look, and had, you know, and was just having fun. I got hired. So I'll say focus on those things I just mentioned. It's not worrying about all these moves. Everybody want to get all their shit in one match. I got to do this. I got to do that. Have my trademark. It's like, just stop.
Right.
Focus on what you need to do. Before we get you out of here, man, I wanted to know, man, is there any other book you're gonna read, or is there gonna be a part 3 to the, you know, why did I write this, or, you know, is there anything else that you probably, you know, you second guess? But is there any new book or anything that you're getting ready to put out, or anything, or you putting together?
Oh no, not at the moment right now. Not at the moment right now. Right now I'm just focusing on tmoss.com. I'm focusing on the beard care. I'm also focusing on me and my 3 of my buddies. We're working on a TV series right now. So I am writing. So I'm working on a TV series focusing on the homeless situation here in Los Angeles, because it's really bad out here. And we're creating something, you know, to bring it to the forefront, you know, to people's attention.
Is there a name to it that, you know, so people can
We
look
have
out
some
for?
working titles, but we don't have it like a definite name yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Jay, before we get out, the last thing for you. The business side of it. You know, so many people, whether it's basketball, football, wrestling, you know, that's their only goal. They don't have a plan B. You came in, you made a name. Even now, I'm pretty sure without wrestling, you would be okay. Can you explain to everybody, man, how important it is to utilize not only your time, your money, but the knowledge you gain in this business to make connects outside of the business to still continue making money and provide for yourself?
Yeah, I would say that, you know, everybody has more than one passion. Wrestling can't be your only passion. You have to figure out what your passions are and what can you do and make money without considering calling it work. You know, the things that I do when I'm doing my CMOS orders or beer care orders, it's not work for me. You know, I want to see men. I get a passion out of seeing, you know, men use the stuff that I use and get results. You know, I'm helping somebody get to their next level. If it's the newbie's guide to big biceps, or if it's their beard growth, you know, they want to have a bigger, thicker beard, or if they, you know, CMOS, the testosterone booster CMOS, you know, helping them get the gains that they want. Have you noticed that all 3 of those things have something in common? I'm helping men get to the next level and whatever they want. So that's one of my passions. And also, I love working out. I'm in the fitness industry. So those are all my passions, and I turned it into businesses. So I'll recommend that to all, you know, wrestling. You know, if I never get the call from AEW or WWE, I'm gonna be all right. You know, that's not really one of my biggest goals. I'm not really putting all my focus on that right now. I'm focusing on creating a legacy, leaving something behind for my kids, and entrepreneurship. Yeah. So I know right now, I would say, you know, if you want to be a professional wrestler, go for it. but also if you have other passions, try to monetize those passions.
Before I do my
if you have a knowledge, even like all the stuff that I've like I said before, I graduated from university.
right. Like a lot of us.
I learned, or whatever books I read, you know, I applied it. I applied the knowledge, and that's what Vincent Mann said. You know, we used to have promo classes. He was like a genius. You know, I wasn't the smartest guy in school. I think he even dropped out of college. He said, but the knowledge, everything that I learned, I applied it. That's a genius. That's an intellectual person. You take what you learned and you applied it. Because you could have all the book smarts in the world. You could Google that now, so it doesn't matter. So you can have all this knowledge, book smarts, but what you gonna do with it?
Before I sign off, is there any social? Is there any? All your social medias, man. Feel free to plug them in. It's been a long day. Is there any social medias? Hell, I'll follow you.
So follow your boy on Instagram at JTG121084. I know it's a lot. Somebody took JTG, so I had to be creative with the Instagram handle. So again, JTG121084. Go follow me on Twitter, JTG1284. And check out my products, tmoss.com, testosterone boosting sea moss. We also have black seed oil infused sea moss. I know some females are like, I don't want the testosterone, I just want the sea moss. So we got the black seed oil infused sea moss for the female fans out there. We got the gummies on the way. And if you want a sexy as hell beard, go to sahbeardcare.com. We also have skincare products. If you want to make sure you smell good from beard to toe, we got mango, we got passion fruit, we got chocolate. You imagine walking into Bay's crib, for Netflix and chilling, your whole body smell like chocolate. You're killing them.
Right. She gonna be ready to eat you. Yeah. I'm gonna check out the beer game for sure, man. Definitely gonna have to check that out for sure.
And if you want, big arms, the newbies got the big biceps. I use my techniques and strategies every time I'm in the gym, and it will set you up. After you read the book a few times and you get a good you get the flow of it, you can use the same techniques for a lifetime. I prepare you for a lifetime for training in the gym.
Well, hey, Jay, man, first of all, man, I appreciate you, man, taking the time out once again, to hang out with us and, chop it up with your boys. We really, really do appreciate it, man. Congratulations on your success. Continue your success. Other than that, man, I appreciate you taking out the time, man.
No problem, man. Thank you guys for having me, man.
Appreciate you, brother. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for tuning in to another episode of GOW. 27-year-old piece of gold. He too cold. And if you don't know, now you know, man. It's Jay Tha Gawd. Peace.
Chill.